Welcome back. Keeping on top of things motherhood. We're back. If you ever given birth when it's labor time, you will know that you are in labor. I had a twinge. I went, hang on a minute. That is not a Braxton Hicks. And it was whoosh. My waters broke. Like in the movies. And every single time I've ever spoken to someone about their waters break, I'm like, it never happens like it does in the movies. That does not happen. That is what happened to me this time round. Just be ready to receive keeping on top of things, because KOTOT is coming in hot. Hello and welcome. Hi. Keeping on top of things motherhood. We're back. This is the 1st of September. And what I can honestly say is I have missed KOTOT. I have missed keeping on top of things motherhood so much. Took a little bit of a break because I decided to have a baby. So I'm back. I hope you've had a fantastic summer. I hope you've enjoyed the time with the kids and enjoyed whatever it is that you were doing. We've actually had a decent summer. The sun was shining. The heat was doing what the heat was supposed to be doing. And in that, I became a mum again to my 3rd child. So it's a refresh. It's coming back again. It's getting back into swing of things. And this time I'll be coming to you when I'm not pregnant, when I have not been balancing hormones, balancing so much, body on overdrive. But, I cannot tell you how much I've missed this podcast. I cannot tell you how much I have missed having another person sat on the sofa and just talking about the ins and outs of doing motherhood, the ins and outs of trying to keep sane, trying to keep on top of things. But we're back and I'm so excited. So, solo episode to start off with. It's the beginning of a fresh new month. What am I going to talk to you about today? We're going to talk about me having another child. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to talk about my birth story, what that entailed, because it didn't go to plan. But that's the reality of life. Not everything always goes to plan. So, 3rd child, Theo. I am a mum of 3. Guys, ladies, oh my gosh. In my head, I am 25 years old. Physically, I'm not. But in my head, I'm like a little girl. I'm just me. I'm just Ravimbo. Like there's no, responsibility. I'm just a young girl, but I'm not a young girl anymore. But in my head, I am. I actually have 3 human beings that I am responsible for. Wow. Let's just deep that. So, bringing Theo into the world, you probably guessed by now, I had a little boy. I didn't know what his sex was. Found out on the day, which is always what I've done. I'm not fussed about finding out the gender before the baby's actually here. It's just one of those things. When the baby's here, the baby's here. I found out it's one of 2 things. It's either going to be a boy or it's going to be a girl. Either way, it's a blessing. So, how did Theo come about? 3rd baby. Process was fairly simple. The usuals. Nothing out the ordinary. It didn't go to plan though. And that in itself threw me. Let me start from the beginning so that we can go through it properly. I was sleeping upstairs with Alex, and I just was getting what I thought were Braxton Hicks. And I'm thinking, I'm not able to sleep. And Alex was due to be going to work the next day. So I'm turning left, I can't sleep. I'm turning right, I can't sleep. So I said to Alex, babe, I'm going to go downstairs, probably watch a TV show or something, just one thing. And once that's done, hopefully I will be able to catch some sleep or be able to do, I don't know. I didn't even know what was going on at that point. Come downstairs on this glorious sofa. And then I had that first twinge. You know, that twinge. If you ever given birth when it's labor time, you will know that you are in labor. I had a twinge. I went, hang on a minute. That is not a Braxton Hicks. And I can talk about what that feels like now because it's still quite fresh in my head. But the pressure's not a cramp. I used to say giving birth is like a really, really painful cramp. No, it isn't. The pressure is different. When you go into labor, for me, my personal experience, the pressure was in my bum, in my butt. So the pain was coming from that angle. And I'm thinking, nah, this is not normal. This is not a normal twinge because I felt that. So it was started coming. I was like, oh, let me track it because I was having Braxton Hicks every 10, 15 minutes for about a week leading up to me actually giving birth, which if you've had Braxton Hicks before, you know that they're uncomfortable. And I have big babies, so I may not have looked it as what people were telling me, but I carry heavy. So for like a week leading up to me actually having Theo, I was uncomfortable every 10, 15 minutes, but it just never progressed to actual labor. So when I had my twinge, it was about 3 o'clock in the morning and I was like, let's see if I have another one. Then I had another one, but it was like 8 minutes later. Then the next one came in about 6 minutes later, but the time kept dropping. But again, the pressure in my lower back and in my bum, the easiest way is like, it's a pressure to poo, but it's painful. And I just went, okay, this is not fun. This is not a nice feeling. Not in a horrible way, but it's just like it's different and it's a bit uncomfortable. So I sat here, I was like, all right, fine. What am I gonna do? Scroll. Let me track it for half an hour and then let me see. And then I texted Alex. I didn't call him, I texted him because I'm thinking he's asleep. But obviously he's not sleeping because he's thinking, why's my wife gone downstairs when she's supposed to be sleeping? So I texted him. I said, you need to figure out what you're going to do about work tomorrow because this baby's coming. I'm thinking he's not going to see it until later. Next thing I see is my man come downstairs and he's like, right, we're having a baby. Right, we need to call your mum. We need to do this. We need to do this. I said, babe, I've just had the first twinge. We're not going anywhere anytime soon. This baby's not coming. It doesn't happen that quickly. So I'm just like, you sleep. It's just the early signs. They're still coming every like 6 minutes, but it's a lot quicker. And obviously the sensation is different to what I've been having before. This time actually I'm in pain, but it's manageable. So I just go about my business. He actually goes back to sleep, but he's now with me and we're both downstairs, which is just counterproductive. Yeah, so just went about my business, called my mum at 7 o'clock in the morning because that's when we got the kids up. And I said, Mum, can you come for 8 so you can take Eli to nursery? By the way, I think I'm in labour. Baby's coming today. Don't know when, but baby's coming today. So can you take Eli to nursery and then have Esme for the day? And then once we're ready, we'll let you know and then you can come home. Calm. And at that point, that's when I rang ADAU. So I rang them and said, think I'm in labour. Contractions are happening every 4 minutes at this point. Yeah, they were about every 4 minutes at this point. I'm supposed to have a home birth. Can you send someone over to assess me so I know what's going on? And they said, can we call you back? I should have known that was my first red flag. So I'm like, yeah, cool, call me back. Calm. At this point, I'm frantically trying to make my house presentable because I'm about to have a baby. I'm having a home birth. And what you see here, this is me trying to be presentable because my house usually has got toys everywhere. Toys absolutely everywhere. If you remember, I had like one of these, like two more of these here, but they've been trashed because I have a 2-year-old in the house who pulls the leaves off and whatever. So I'm nursing them back to health. So frantically trying to tidy up the house, just like hiding everything in the cupboards. That's what you do at that point because I'm in labor. Mum comes over, takes the kids. Alex ended up actually dropping Eli off at nursery because at that point I'm like, I'm still functioning. I'm okay. Let's just do what we need to do. Everybody have breakfast, yada, yada, yada. So they call me back and then they say to me, would you mind coming to the hospital because we don't have a team that is able to come out to you right now. So I'm thinking, maybe, day shift hasn't started yet. So they're still on the night shift. So they probably don't have the community midwives working as of yet to have a team come out or have someone come out to see me. So I didn't think much of it. I just thought it is what it is. Fine, I'll go get assessed, but I'm coming back home. Calm. Just finished tidying up the house. So I kept doing that. Then the kids left. Mum took Esme. Alex actually dropped Eli off at nursery. I'm just going about my business. So coming up to about 10, Alex is now panicking. When I tell you my husband was panicking because he's thinking, I'm not going to catch this baby at home. This girl's just walking around, just doing whatever she's doing. And obviously there's all of that talk about the more babies you have, the quicker labor is because your body knows what it's doing. It becomes like, it's all muscle memory at that point. And it's my third child. So he's like, can we please just go get assessed and we can come back? I'm like, yeah, cool. But let me shower first. So I go shower, come back down. I'm like, right, let's go. Let's go to hospital. There's me walking out and all I've got is a handbag and my phone. Literally, that's all I had. Alex looks at me, goes, babe, you don't have a hospital bag? I said, no, because I'm having a home birth. I'm coming back. They're just going to assess, see if I'm in labour or not, which I know I'm in labour, and then we'll come back home. It was just literally, there 45 minutes, we're back home. He's like, please, babe, please. I'm like, fine, go ahead. You pack the bag because I'm not even doing it because I don't want to. So he said, what do I pack? I said, well, there's a caddy there. Again, because I'm prepped for a home birth. I said, there's a caddy there. Just take everything that's in the caddy and chuck it in a bag. And then upstairs in our bedroom, next to my side of the bed, there's a nightie and a few bits for me and like, the maternity pants, whatever. And he's like, yeah, sure. So he ended up getting his duffel bag. So he's got this brown leather duffel bag. And that's what he just chucked everything in there. I'm like, I'm not carrying that bag because it's not my bag. I'm not having a baby in the hospital. Went to hospital, get to ADAU. And I walk in, they take my notes and they're like, oh, okay, can you just take a seat and we'll be with you right away. The receptionist took my notes and then I heard her talking to a midwife and said, is this the lady that you said needs to go straight to labour ward? So I'm thinking, she better not be talking about me because I'm not going to labour ward. I have been planning this home birth since I found out I was pregnant. Since I had Eli, before I even knew I was going to have a third child, in my head, I'd always said, if I have another child, it's going to be a home birth. So when she said this, I'm already ready to have that conversation to say, excuse me, you're not talking about me. You must be talking about another lady. I told you on the phone that I'm having a home birth. So the receptionist comes back to me and she says, oh, I've got to take you to the labour ward. So I looked at her. If you know anything about me, I can have a presence. If I need to express myself and advocate for myself, I am able to do so. Despite me being in labour, I was able to actually speak for myself and on my own behalf, even though Alex was there. And at this point, I was very firm. I was still polite, but I was very firm. And I said, can you go and check again? Because I am scheduled to have a home birth. So she goes, midwife comes back. And then the midwife said to me, we don't have any space here, but can I just take you to the labour ward and we'll get you assessed in the labour ward? So we walk out of the waiting room, and I think she did this purposefully because obviously she was about to break my heart. But I didn't know that at the time. Again, not even clocking the red flags. I should have been clocking that. Hang on, what is going on? Why would I go straight to labour ward? It doesn't make sense. So we get out of the waiting room and it's just us. So it's the two midwives, Alex and myself, and we're walking. And she said, I really need to apologize, but we've spoken to the Labour team, and unfortunately, because of summer holidays and because of someone calling in sick, we don't have enough people in the community to be able to provide the home birth service. At that moment, when I tell you, it felt like my world just crumbled. I always know, again, this is my third child, so I know that nothing ever goes to plan all the time. There's always like a little tweak here and there, but I was so set on a home birth and it broke me. When I say broke me, I had the ugly cry. And bear in mind, I am doing the ugly cry. So I'm like, I don't want to be here. Take me home, take me home, take me home. And then halfway through, I'm like, ooh. And then she was trying to talk to me. I went, 1 second, 1 second. And when I was going through my contractions, I handle pain quietly. So I'd be like, So I would actually stop crying so I could go through the contraction. So I'm like, And she was like, can we please take you to labour ward? Because your contractions are coming less than 3 minutes apart now. I was like, oh, there? She was like, yes. We've literally walked like 20 steps and you're having another one. But then the midwife was very concerned. And I really, really appreciate her for this, because she looked at Alex and she said, what is the fear behind her being in hospital? Why is she so adamant that she doesn't want to be here? And at this point, I was just hysterical. Not because I was in pain with labour. Absolutely not. I was fine with the labour bit. It was just me being in hospital. I did not realise I was still carrying that trauma from Esme's birth. I was terrified. I'm not kidding. Absolutely terrified to give birth in hospital because of what happened to me 6 years ago. What? How do I even still have all of that trauma? How many times have I sat on this sofa? How many times have I sat with friends, family, spoken about my experience with Esme? But until I was in another situation, it's like I had PTSD. Thank heavens for my gorgeous husband, who then explained the whole thing from start to finish, the midwife. He was like, she had a really bad experience first time round and yada, 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 yada. You've all heard my birth story with Esme. So he was like, she's just scared that again will happen because no one listened first time round. You know, she was saying she needed to poo and no one checked, got into theatre, about to cut, and then Esme's head was popping out and they were literally about to cut me in theatre. But it was just such a horrible, horrible experience. So they were like, okay, we're really sorry that happened, but we're going to do whatever we can to make sure that we give you the best experience. We can't force you to be here, but if you do go home, we're not going to have a team that's going to come out to be with you. And I went, well, I'm willing to chance it. And Alex, you should have seen Alex, when I said that, Alex is like, who are you willing to chance it with? Because I'm not catching this baby. And I'm just looking at him. At this point, he's not saying anything because he knows better than to argue with me when I'm in labour. So they were like, can we just assess you? Because obviously that's what you've come here for. And if you're not in active labour, which I highly doubt, then you can go home. So I'm like, okay, fine, assess me. They were like, well, we're going to assess you in the labour ward. We've provided you the best room and it's got the water bath, and we can just recreate the home birth experience if you choose to have the baby in the hospital. When I say, if you have a good midwife, and I'm not saying they're necessarily bad midwives out there, but the midwife who knew I was coming in, knew I wanted to have a home birth, and they'd made preparations for me to feel as comfortable as possible before I got to the hospital, knowing that I was not going to get the birth that I had planned for. So they had already made a room available for me. Luckily, there weren't that many people giving birth at that time, so the room was available. Got in, and again, at this point, I'm still like delulu, crying about the whole birth. I'm not even crying about labor, just crying about the birth situation. So they assessed me and they're like, you're 5 centimeters, so we wouldn't recommend you going home. And I remember when she said you're 5 centimeters, I said no. And Alex looked at me and said, that means I can't go home. And they were like, we just would recommend for you to stay, and we will do whatever you need for this to be a good experience for you. And they actually provided 2 midwives. So I had midwives with me the entire time. I had 2 of them the entire time I was in that room. We were playing music. The midwives were great. Absolutely fantastic. We spoke about my birth experience together, and then they checked my notes from when I had Esme, which were quite disappointing because not everything was recorded. But anyways, I explained what had happened. So they calmed me down, completely calmed me down. Then we started playing my music. They changed the mood lighting, which was fantastic. We were singing along, and they were singing and jamming to my music, which was great. So in between my contractions, I was actually like dancing, because for me, if I'm jamming to music, my music, I can work through the pain. So I wasn't even taking the gas and air at that point, because they were like, well, we can give you all your pain meds and all this. I said, no, just make the gas and air available, and then when I need it, I'll take it. But they were just singing with me. We were just vibing. Great. Alex was there, and he was just looking at us like thinking, oh my gosh, I'm in this room with these 3 ladies who are just vibing and singing along. Then when it actually came to delivering Theo, he was my easiest birth by far. I felt like I had pressure to pee, which I did. But you know what it's like when you're in labor? You literally like have like 2 little drops of pee, and that was it. So at that point, they were like, do you want to go to the toilet? And I said, I don't think I can go to the toilet. They're like, okay, fine. What we'll do, we'll bring a commode and put it next to the bed, and then you can just use it as and when you feel, because obviously that'll be a little bit more comfortable than you actually having to walk to the toilet, which was literally like over there. But never mind. I'll take it. If you want to spoil me, spoil me. Calm. So yeah, so they bring me the commode, and they're like, we'll step outside so you can have some privacy and have a wee. I sit on there, and I just went, oh, babe, I can't sit down. Alex is like, what? I was like, I can't sit down. So I didn't even use the commode. I was like, let me get on the bed. Got on the bed on my all fours. And then again, I'm still singing through my contractions. And then at this point, Alex is like, do you want me to massage your back? So he came behind me and he started trying to massage me. I said, no, don't touch my lower back. Don't put any pressure towards my lower back. I should have known. Again, on that day, I think I was just in La La Land. At this point, I was taking my gas and air. I'm in La La Land completely, because I'm just like singing along. I was like, no, don't press my lower back. I'm just literally swaying as I'm doing now. That's what I was doing. I was just swaying through the contraction. And every contraction, I'll then hum. I'll just like, but this one was like a grunt. It wasn't even a hum. It was like, going through it. And then, I kid you not, it was just I heard it, and it was whoosh. My waters broke. Like in the movies. And every single time I've ever spoken to someone about their waters break, I'm like, it never happens like it does in the movies. That does not happen. That is what happened to me this time round. It literally went whoosh everywhere. The midwives ran into the room because they thought that the pipe or something, the water had burst from the bath. They came in, they're like, what was that? Alex was like, her waters have broken. They're like, we heard it from outside. That's how much it was, just like a whoosh. They're like, okay, let's get that cleaned up just in case she stands up, and we don't want her to slip or anything like that. Again, I'm just humming through. I can hear them, but I'm just I'm not even listening to anything anyone's saying. I'm on all fours at this point. I'm just singing and vibing myself. This was 10 to 1. Yeah, 10 to 1. My waters broke. And then they're tidying up. Then the midwife said, oh, this baby will be coming soon then. And I'm like, vibing. So the midwife's behind me, because now she's like, oh, can I check you? I was like, yeah, you can check. You can check. And she was like, oh, actually, I can see baby crowning. So this was my first push. So I did quite a long contraction, probably about 2 minutes long. So I had my first one, I went, and she said, oh, I can see the baby crowning. And then the next one, she said to the student midwife, you wanted to deliver the baby, so if I was you, I'd get ready. Then I pushed, and she went, oh, baby is crowning. Oh, baby's head's out. Alex was like, what? Because again, Alex is not even, everyone is everywhere at this point because everyone's just seeing me chilling. So they don't even think that I'm about to push or anything because I'm just vibing. Alex is there just watching them clean up. And he's just, again, he's by my shoulders at this point, just with me. He's rubbing my shoulders and he went, what? Baby's out? And she was like, no, 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 his head's out. Well, the baby's head's out because we didn't know it was a he at that point. And then the next push, oh, shoulders are out. Oh, baby's out. Not kidding. One contraction, 2 full pushes, and Theo was out. It was as smooth as can be, really. So I can't really complain because, yes, I was in pain, but the calm ambience, the midwives going above and beyond to care for me, knowing that I'd had the disappointment of not having the home birth. Alex being there and being so supportive and really understanding what I needed the whole day. Even the fact that he was the proactive one around getting the bag and making sure we've got everything packed for the baby. He even packed my snacks that I had at the house, which I didn't know that he did before we came out. Just having someone who is a true birth partner in that respect, because that entire day, I didn't have to make any decisions really, except for, okay, fine, let's go to hospital. Fine, I'll go to hospital now. That's probably the only decision I had to make on that day because everything else he had on lock. Don't get me wrong, I still snapped at him a couple of times when the pain got a bit too much, as per usual, but he took it he took it on the chin. He was absolutely fantastic. And again, the midwives were amazing. Theo latched within like a minute and a half of him being born. And they were like, would you like some privacy? I was like, yes. So they left me in there with Theo feeding, Alex like trying to clean up around me. And then we were cuddling and having our family time. They left us for an hour, a good solid hour, which was incredible. If you have ever given birth in a labor ward in a hospital, you know that sometimes those rooms are literally a conveyor belt. Not even sometimes, majority of the time, they're a conveyor belt. You give birth, you probably have max an hour, and then you're out for the next, so them to flip it round for the next lady to come in. The midwife left, and when she came back, she said, I've spoken to the midwifery team, and they said, again, because you were planning to have the home birth, we're just going to leave you in here until you get discharged. I went, really? They were like, yeah, so we're looking at a 6-hour discharge. I'm like, calm. If you want me to sit in here for 6 hours, obviously then allowing for the baby to have all his checks and all of that kind of stuff. I was like, calm. So again, Alex and I were in this room. They cleaned up around us, tidied up, changed all the bedding for me. Then I got to clean myself up. Alex had tummy time. I had my feeding and tummy time and skin to skin and all of that good stuff. And my fears of giving birth in a hospital were completely alleviated by that midwifery team at the hospital. And if you guys have known anything about me, I've not always had the most positive things to say about Milton Keynes Hospital. However, it is so important to be able to voice what you need to voice, express your wishes. Maternity is a service, and I was extremely fortunate, and I am extremely grateful for that team on that day because it could not have gone any better than it did. Slightly, I'm actually happy that I gave birth in hospital because if I had given birth at home on my floor and that water just went whoosh the way it did, who's cleaning it up? Because it was everywhere. But yeah, so that was my birthing story. No major bells and whistles around it. The only thing was that I didn't have a home birth. But other than that, it was as smooth as can be. So since then, I actually have just been at home. I took when I say all of August off, I took August off. No phone calls. I didn't want to talk to anyone. Not in a negative way, but I was just like, I'm now a mum of 3. I've been hella busy I've been so, so busy throughout this pregnancy. I've got a 6-year-old, I've got a 2-year-old, I'm a wife, I own my own consultancy. So much has been going on that I've just been on. So when Theo came, I was just like, everybody who knows me, I'm switching off for a month. I'm not going to start seeing people until September. Let us enjoy this newborn bubble. Let us, as a family, let Eli get used to no longer being the baby of the family. Let Esme get used to being a big sister to 2 brothers. Let Alex and I adjust to having 3 children. So unless you were like immediate family, as in siblings or the grandparents, and then obviously the midwives and the health visitors, but other than that, we didn't see anyone. I just took the time, rested, and I feel so good. That's why, I said it when I started that I've missed this podcast so, so much. I've missed all my wonderful ladies that's joined me on the sofa, and we are coming back swinging. When I say swinging, oh, just be ready to receive keeping on top of things, because KOTOT is coming in hot. We are coming in with so much energy, revived, because I feel like KOTOT is for mums, because normally I have a boob out, milk spraying everywhere, toys are all over the house and all of this. But when KOTOT is on, the kids are elsewhere. It's my time. It's our time. And yeah, I'm just so, so excited. So we're going to be sticking to the 2-weekly schedule because that is realistic. I have 3 kids. I need to get used to saying that. I keep saying I've got 2 kids. No, you've got 3. You've got 3 kids, Rivimbo. So I've got 3 kids. So I've got to be realistic with my time and what I can do within that time. Every 2 weeks, we're going to be having people on the sofa. And guys, I'm going to be shooting and I'm not pregnant. Pretty much, except for right at the beginning, I've been pregnant throughout all of KOTOT. So this is going to be interesting, doing KOTOT without the hormones all over the show. So watch this space. I will see you again in 2 weeks. And yeah. Welcome back. This is so refreshing. Until I see you next time, have a great start of September. If kids are going back to school and all of that kind of thing, let's do the happy mummy woohoo dance. And I will see you soon. Bye bye.